Hello, chat. Sorry for the late night stream, but I had to take my wife to the ultrasound. Very important. The due date is coming soon, so I gotta do husbandly things. As much as I enjoy spending time with you guys, I do have to take care of the business, the manly business. I already got a super chat. That's so cool. Terry Diamantes. Thank you for the 5 Australians. What if you run a movie rental place and want people to know that Adam Sandler movie Click is here at your store? I don't. What? I don't get it. Chat, help me out. I don't understand the joke. I do appreciate the donation though. I wish I could respond to it, but I just don't get it. What I do get is the Niika situation. Yes, I woke up and every timeline, every person that I spoke with, everyone was like, Niika. And apparently, even Drama Alert talked about it. Like one of the children from the Riqueta household, a 9-year-old, tested positive for la cocaína. And they had so much la cocaína in their system that it was similar apparently to an old elderly person that has been using it for a while. Now, there are 2 questions that I have with this. The first one is, how did the records leak? Because from what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, at least this is the way it is here, but I assume it's the same in the United States, those things are confidential, right? Like, while the investigation is taking place, it's not in secret, right? Like it's something that the investigators have access to, and it's not for public knowledge. Like the case hasn't gone public yet. So how exactly did those documents leak? Is my question. Is there a conspiracy against Nick? I mean, there is a high chance that they're made up, right? Because again, like they're not supposed to be in the public sector, but I wouldn't think they're made up. Like if they were made up, I think they would be more outrageous, unless the person making them up was just like sneaky about it, and they were like, okay, if we make it too outrageous, then people won't buy it, so we're just going to make it like believable enough. It's confidential in quotes. The amount of hands it passes through, and people who have phones, it means nothing. No, I get it. Like, it is possible that the cleaning lady at the courthouse may have leaked it to the public. But you are risking... I don't know if it's criminal charges. Like, in Romania it is. I don't know the punishment in America. But, like, if you reveal secret court documents, even if it wouldn't be illegal, you can still get sued, right? Like, you still risk getting a lawsuit for doing it. So, like, why would you risk it? And the question is, like, who hates Nick this much? I mean, I get it now that, you know, it's this particular situation, and he's on the internet and the public eye, especially with kids being involved. Like, yeah, there's a lot of people that dislike him, but, like, do they dislike him enough in order to risk losing their job? Like if you're a clerk at the courthouse and you're leaking documents and it's found out, like, you lose your job, right? So, but the thing, I think it was a hair follicle test. The second thing that I find weird, and this would warrant an explanation, is were there like more than one kid in the house? Like, were there like 4 or 5? Like, why is only one of them testing positive, right? Because, like, that's what I found strange. It's like, okay, so you have many kids in the house, and only one of them is positive? Like, did the test not work on the other, or was only one tested? Like, right? Like, it's an interesting question. Still, I mean, I think we should wait for the court to actually investigate further. I really don't like the idea of, like, someone being investigated, and while the investigation is taking place, like, documents are leaking to the public. It's like, let's wait for the whole thing. Let's see what the defense says. Let's see what the prosecutors say. It's a lot better to make up your mind like that than just like. But again, like the curiosity is like, who licked it? Why would he share? Well, so like what? Like he shares with only one kid? Like was that his favorite kid or his least favorite one? You see the Nintendo Party Direct. What's your favorite Mario Party minigame? I hear Riquetta is All-Star Swingers. Oof. I don't really like Nintendo games. I think most people that like Nintendo games is due to nostalgia, like due to the fact that they grew up with it. But honestly, Nintendo games are for kids. Like I tried playing a Mario, and it was one of the easiest games that I ever played in my life. So I don't really think that I can get into it anymore. When I was a kid, I didn't have money to buy a Nintendo, right? So due to that, I never got into Zelda. I did play some Mario, but like not enough for me to play it now. And I just don't care. There's nothing that Nintendo does that attracts my fancy. I managed to get a Pilgrim Nikke. Well, congratulations. I too have like 3 Pilgrim Nikkes. All of the judicial branch of Minnesota enjoys the farms. I would not be surprised at this point. Like the thing is, Nick did make a lot of enemies when he talked mad shit about judges and prosecutors and other lawyers. So they probably started watching him, and from one point to another, they ended up on the farms. So like that could be one of the explanations. The only way to test positive for that high level of la cocaína is through injection. There's another possibility, right? Now again, I'm not claiming that this happened or not. I generally don't know. So I'm just speculating. There is also a possibility that the test came out wrong. Like it can happen. Usually when that's the case, like if you're the parent and you know for sure that your kid didn't take it, and the test comes back positive, you can order another test. So you can do 2 tests. There's also like false positives. I don't know in the case of La Cocaína. Believe it or not, I never seen such a case in the hospital when I worked, ever. Like, it was very rare in Romania. Unfortunately, it's becoming a little bit more frequent in recent years. Like, the government is trying to crack down on it. But back in the day, when I was at the hospital, having people with La Cocaína was insanely rare. So I generally like don't know how these tests work. I don't know like what their success rate is, what the false positive rate is. But yeah, like why if the kid didn't take it, then you should order a retest. However, like if the kids live in the same house with drugs, right, and the drugs are on the table, then that is why it's called child neglect, right? Or in this case, it's endangerment, right? It's even worse. Like if they're within reach, right? Especially if they're on the table, then it's no surprise. I don't think lawyers and judges are going to waste their time watching sloppy drunk Nick because he called them a poo-poo pee-pee. You have no idea. You have no idea how little self-control people have the moment they hear that someone talked about them. Like, unironically, no fun, no hope. If you hear, like, someone in real life tells you that this cheeky little shit YouTuber talked mad shit about you on the internet, you're going to check. It doesn't matter what job you have. I generally don't know. You can be the president of the United States. If you hear that this comedian talked mad shit about you, like, curiosity is going to make you check. And there's this thing, like, when people talk good, positive stuff about you, most people don't care. I mean, they do care, but they don't feel as affected as if people talk negative stuff about them. So like, think about it this way. If you go out in a crowd and everyone congratulates you and cheers for you, and one person slaps your face, you're going to remember that one person. Like, your entire daily interaction is going to be marked by the time the person slapped your face. So, if someone talks mad shit about on the internet, especially if it's false or you don't believe it or you don't like it, you're going to hold a grudge. Most people do. It doesn't matter if they're judges. It doesn't matter if they're police officers, prosecutors. The profession you have doesn't dictate the type of character that the person has. Like, it's two different things, right? Like, one is based on knowledge and know-how. The other is based on, like, personality and character. So, yeah, like, most people are petty. You know, if someone says something bad to you, if someone laughs at you, especially if you don't look up to them, like, yeah, you're going to most likely be vindictive about it. Like this is how most people react. All right, the person that actually isn't vindictive and doesn't care is the exception. Go to bed? No, I need to stream. I need to work. Baby's on the way. Need to make money. Nick is cooked at this point. I too think so. Yeah, like if the court documents are true and if he can't actually get out of them, like he can't prove that the test was negative or that the documents are actually false, yeah, no, I think he's going to the slammer. I think he may actually end up in the slammer. And going into the slammer with anything related to kids, that's not good. That's really not good. So it is what it is. I mean, don't do drugs. What can I say? My eye. Oh, I updated the troll model. It looks better. The amount of time you have to put into your job does. I don't think judges work that much, to be honest. I don't. No, seriously. Is it like being a judge an 8-hour day job? Like you're working for the government, you have government hours, they pay you if you actually work overtime. Yeah, like what? I mean, judge, come on. We're talking about a judge, not a Twitch streamer. Judges work 8 hours a day. They go to work, they have like time assigned to do the case files, and then they actually get into the thing. Usually, the people who work extra are the lawyers. And probably the prosecutors as well. But not the judges. The judges, like, no, they go there, they do their job, and then they fuck off. They have no interest in working overtime. And especially, depending who leaked it, it may not even be I mean, I don't think a judge leaked it. It could possibly be, like, one of the staffers, even the secretary or some shit like that. The US judges are different, but Euro judges are lazy and well paid and usually corrupt. I don't know if the US judges are different. Like why would the judge work overtime? And how much would that be? Like, do they work 16 hours a day? I doubt it. Can you even pass sentences correctly if you're that overworked? It's not like they are reviewing documents at night after they get home. Yeah, I don't think they do. I actually have colleagues of mine that are judges, and they don't seem overworked. I'll ask them. But I think, like, lawyers and prosecutors do review caseworks when they go home. Prosecutors, not as much, but lawyers definitely. Like if you're a lawyer, especially if you're not working for a big law firm and you're just alone, yeah, like, you're probably reviewing case files late at night. So, yeah, like for lawyers, I understand. For judges, not so much. I bet it was a female that wants revenge for Amber Heard. Man, from my personal experience, I may be wrong with this, but most women actually disliked Amber Heard. I don't know why. I think it's because, like, she was a beautiful woman. Like, if Amber Heard was this morbidly obese manifestation, probably women would have more compassion for her. But, like, every single woman that I spoke during the Amber Heard trial were siding with Johnny Depp. And this probably has to do with the fact that women actually find Johnny Depp hot as well. Like he was considered to be one of the most hot actors when he was a little bit younger. Now, not so much. But yeah, I don't think it's due to Amber Heard. Have you already forgotten how courts are treating Trump? You trust the government now? Why would I trust the government? I mean, it depends. It depends, right? Like if you have a court that's investigating a non-political case, yeah, I don't think they're doing a proper job. Like if you have, someone breaking into a store and they go in front of a judge and they're like, okay, well, what happened? And here's the evidence. This is what the defense says. Yeah, I don't think, like, the courts have an interest in getting involved if it's like a petty crime or something that's non-political. Why would they care? Why would they risk their job? Like, it is Look at the judge that investigating Donald Trump, right? Like, he's already an elderly person. I mean, I don't know how many years he's got until he retires. And, like, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, he gets disbarred. Oh, big whoop. He already has enough money. KK, thank you for $19. Good thing you didn't add another K, because that would have been problematic. Here's something for the Baby Fan V. Also, I've always been suspicious of people who dislike anime and even hentai to the point that they judge those who do. Like Nick. Usually those people are worse than the typical anime fan. Does Nick dislike hentai and anime? I don't know about that. I mean, it's easy to explain. It's a low-hanging fruit, right? Like, if you go on the internet and you say the correct speech, like, let me put it this way. If you go back to the 90s and you go to a convention with your friends and you talk about how you are absolutely disgusted and abhorred about slasher movies, right? So like, you go to church, or not even to church, you go to a gathering, or you have a newspaper, and you talk about how disgusting goth music is, and like, you look what it's doing to kids. Like, you see these kids going into graveyards and talking about self-deletion because they listen to goth, and it's satanic. It's such a horrible music. It's the devil music. Or you're talking about, like, why do people watch so many slasher films? Like, what's wrong with media today? It's so grotesque. It's so vile. Like, you need to be a psychopath in order to enjoy these types of movies. And then you can talk about video games. It's like, oh my god, look at GTA. Like, you're actually playing, and they're murdering hookers. Like, they're driving with a car over a hooker. Like, who does that? Like, why are gamers so mentally unhinged? Like, so unwell? You need to be a psychopath in order to, like, want to play a game where you're injecting yourself into a person, and you're driving cars, committing crimes, and you're shooting people, and you're shooting police officers. Like, what type of person is willing to do that? How obnoxious is it? Like, look what it's doing to our society. Look what it's doing to our culture, right? You do that shit, everyone is going to applaud and say how virtuous person you are. And yes, V is the pillar of the community. He is the most moral among us. He is the virtue. He is the beacon of light, you know? And it's the same shit with hentai today. It's a different bandwagon. Like, there's always some bandwagon you can jump on, and then you say the speech, and everyone applauds. And it's like the thing is like us versus them, you know, us versus the evil gamers that play these sadistic games. And sometimes the criticism can even land. I mean, I remember when World of Warcraft was popular, it caused video game addiction. A lot of people were addicted to World of Warcraft. And the media was like, oh my god, look what it's doing to our youth. Like, this guy is spending 11 hours a day playing World of Warcraft. It's like a drug. And they were right. But they were also exaggerating. And they were also, it's like, you know, oh, we need to tear it down, destroy Blizzard, which probably they should have shot Blizzard down. But again, like, the solution is always, like, the government needs to step in. Joe Biden, like, we don't trust the government, we don't trust the Democrats, but you know what? In this situation, they need to step in. They need to do the thing. And it's like, oh, God, it's so tiresome. I'm genuinely curious. Look, if I happen to live for 30 more years, I guarantee to you there's going to be, like, a different moral outrage about something else. I don't know about what, but there's definitely going to be something. The reason people like anime right now, I'll tell you why anime is more popular than it should, and why it literally pisses me off that it is, because I loved it when it was niche. The reason anime is so popular is because everything else is shit. Right? Like, what the fuck do you want to watch? Netflix? Like, what's on Netflix? You want me to watch Rings of Power plus Privilege? You want me to watch, like, the latest season of The Witcher, The Boys? Like, what exactly am I supposed to watch? Rick and Morty? Like, I'm sorry, how about, if you hate anime, how about you convince the West to do some actual entertainment? Like they used to. Because I grew up with Stargate, I grew up with Battlestar Galactica, I grew up with, The 100 was actually the last good TV show that I saw. Breaking Bad, Prison Break. Where's these shows? Where the fuck are these shows anymore? There's nothing to watch. Literally nothing to watch. The best anti-piracy method has been discovered by the West. Create shit so bad that even if they were free, people wouldn't want to watch them. So this is why people like anime. And then when you compare, you know, even like wholesome shit, like people like watching wholesome shit. You watch some romantic comedy, that's an anime. And, you know, maybe you don't like the fan service or whatever, but at least the characters behave like human beings. At least the women behave like women, and at least the men behave like men. But then you watch something in the West, and I already made a video on my secondary channel about that. It's like romance in Baldur's Gate. You get like this muscular druid is like, "Oi, boyo, I want to pump your ass in the forest while using my bear form. Press yes for consent." And you're like, is this like, you know, and this is like the game for the doctors and engineers, right? Like, this is the game for the people that don't like anime. Hi V, hope your day is good. It's always good when I talk about anime. Glad you like Jessica artwork I sent you, and glad you like the script. Also, the diversity, inclusivity, and equity is now at my job. Time to go to the gym. I don't think it's going to last for so long. The diversity, inclusivity, and equity. I think like it's becoming toxic, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. I give it like 2 or 3 more years. That's it. But the thing with America is that it always had the corporate culture. Like, before diversity, inclusivity, and equity, you had sensitivity training, and before that you had corporate culture, and they're all cancerous as fuck. But at least like they were less cringe than this, I guess. Did you hear that Marvel vs. Capcom has finally broken through the layers of red tape with the fighting collection? Even the most hardcore fans thought it was impossible. No. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I didn't follow that. I do know that at Nintendo, a lot of people were excited about the news. The thing, no, seriously, like, the thing with the anime, I remember, like, back in the day when anime first came out, well, like, during, when I first discovered it, right, and it was, like, Dragon Ball shit, and it was so outrageous. Like, the themes that they did, they would never do today, and they never did it in Western media as well. Like, Dragon Ball was insanely violent. Extremely violent, you know, for the time. And that was advertised for kids in a time when people panicked about anything violent. And it was very edgy, right? Like, anime was very edgy due to the over-the-top violence. Now, what's interesting is that when I tried selling anime to my friends, you know, it's like, hey, you should watch this. It's like, what is that? It's like Japanese animation. And they would look at it and they would find it boring. And the reason they would find it boring is because Western entertainment was actually that good, right? So you would look at a Japanese anime and it's like, oh, this is Goku and he's poking Bulma's underwear and he's saying that she has no balls, badum tish, right? So a lot of people would look at that and be like, no, that's toilet humor. That's Rick and Morty level. No, I'm going to watch some Battlestar Galactica instead. I'm going to watch some SWAT Cats. Gonna watch some Pirates of the Dark Water. Like the West actually had entertainment that was definitely better than animation. But now it doesn't, right? And anime is the only thing that's filling that gap. So this is why it's so popular, much to my dismay and horror. I wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't. I wish people just didn't know what the fuck anime is, and we could go back to a time when it was just a niche thing that people could enjoy. And the artists were allowed to go as violent as... Like, even the violence in anime is being dragged down. Like, I watched some old animes and holy shit. Like, there's this shark monster that literally bites off the tit of a female character and then starts eating it. And I'm like, what the fuck? But it was like, you know, like, so over the top, so edgy, that it had a lot of shock value. It was, like, shocking to people. And I love shocking. Like, Americans used to make a lot of shocking films as well. Especially the slasher movies, right? The ones with Jason Voorhees, like, well, shock value in it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, very shocking. Yeah. There's another one where a transgender is the killer at a camp. I forgot the name of it, but it had also some gruesome murders. So you have like the camp. It's not like a camp teacher. It's like the camp attendant, summer camp, I think it's called. Yeah, like the attendant of the camp. Was the serial killer. It was killing the kids. Like, they would never make a movie like that today. Holy shit. But like back in the day, Americans also did edgy shit. I like edgy shit. I grew up with Beavis and Butthead. I grew up with South Park. Like South Park was edgy because you get to see Kenny getting killed. I mean, for fuck's sakes, you know, like you have this little kid in a cartoon, and he dies violently in every episode. And it's like it was part of the reason why people like South Park, right? It's like, well, that's kind of edgy. Videl best waifu? I never liked Videl, to be honest. I think like Dragon Ball never made cool female characters. Which is fine. Like Dragon Ball is fighting porn. That's why people watch it. To see the battles. I don't want to see wholesome romance in Dragon Ball. I remember, Ren and Stimpy. Oh yeah, Ren and Stimpy was edgy. Happy Tree Friends was the edgiest. The thing is, like, they tried to make Rick and Morty edgy, but for some fucking reason it just doesn't work. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I mean, it should be edgy, right? Like, Rick and Morty had the incest baby, and it had all of the other stuff. But, like, for some reason, it's just not edgy. I think it's, yeah, the word safe edgy would probably apply, you know? Like, maybe if they would say some slurs. Maybe if they would drop some slurs, that would make it edgy. Best waifu in Dragon Ball is launched? No, I mean, come on, we grew up with Bulma. Why should we pussyfoot around the issue? Just because she married Vegeta doesn't make her less than a waifu. I actually, yeah, I think like Bulma was, no, she wasn't my first waifu, that was Sailor Moon. But when I was a kid, yeah, like Bulma was definitely my top tier fantasy character. She was smart. That's what I liked about her, the fact that she was smart. Rick and Morty writer started suffering from depression and has been unwatchable since season 4. I didn't know that. I haven't watched Rick and Morty anymore. The last one that I saw was the one with the Citadel where it explodes. Right? And you have like the evil Morty separating like going into the parts of the universe where Rick isn't the smartest, and that's where it stopped. But yeah, I don't know what to watch, man. Like, I want to watch some Western stuff. But there's really, like, the last thing that I watched that I was actually excited about was Better Call Saul. Like, I don't think, like, that's the last greatest TV show that came out from the West that I can say, yeah, I was watching it excitedly. It was like, oh, I can hardly wait for Tuesday. Because I want to wake up and I want to see Better Call Saul. But there's, like, nothing anymore. And I gotta say, you know, anime itself is becoming boring. Like, and I was thinking, like, okay, maybe I'm growing up, and maybe I'm just becoming a boomer. So maybe there's that. But no, like, I watched some really old anime, and I was like, no, okay, this is fun, this is entertaining. I watched some South Park early seasons. I watched some Stargate with my wife, and I was like, no, it's not me growing up. It's just that everything actually is turning to shit. I never liked Sailor Moon until my girlfriend brought a cosplay. Man, in Romania, every single kid at school liked Sailor Moon. You went from like the Romanian cartoons, most of which were Russian due to the communism, and you go from that to Sailor Moon, and it was so fucking great. And even the guys wanted to have like the makeup kit. Yeah, no, it was really fun. I think it's also the fact that the monsters would die, right? Like the fact that the monsters got killed, which was like, whoa, very edgy. Cause at the time, like, all cartoons for kids had minimal violence, and nobody would die. And I remember like there was this episode where the the sailors actually died. Like, they're going to fight against the evil queen, and they're dying one by one. And, you know, they get resurrected because plot reasons. But at the time, like, I was a kid, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I felt like crying. I mean, Sailor Mars died. Holy shit. No, unfortunately, I'm not keeping up with the Acolyte, though. A lot of anime fans do feel like it lacks soul these days. The problem with anime these days, I'll tell you what it is. First of all, being married, I'm really not into the fan service anymore. I mean, I appreciate that it's there, but it's like... It's not something that I like, but it's not something that I would censor either, you know, because like when you say you don't like something, people imply that you want to censor it. It's like, no. I think that people who aren't married yet, you know, teenagers, they should have their entertainment. So like fan service is fine. Like it doesn't make me cringe or anything, but if it's there, I'm like, okay, you know, that's not the issue. So I can't just watch comedy, romance, animes anymore. It just doesn't do anything for me. So I'm trying to like watch something else, and whenever I get into something, what ends up happening is like they're making one season and it's really good, and then it takes like 7 years until season 2 comes along, or they never make another season. Case in point, ReZero. Like I really liked ReZero. I really got into the universe and shit, and I was like really fascinated by it. And then they released like the most boring season imaginable. The one where they go to the refugee camp, and it's like, my fucking god, every episode is just more boring than the last. Why is shit so fucking boring? It's like, god, just fucking do something. And then it's like what, like 2-3 years since that point? It's like, come on. And then there was like another one that I liked, Jobless Reincarnation. I saw a trailer for it, and I really liked the animations for combat. Like they were dueling with swords, and it looked so well done and so amazing. And I'm like, okay, I'll check this out. And again, like one season, and then it's like 3 years and no season 2, and I'm like, oh fucking hell! It's like I can't watch. You know, like what? Why do I even get invested in this shit? What's the point? SRC Baker, thank you for the 5 memberships. I really appreciate it. Season 2 was good though. I haven't seen it yet. I didn't have time. But it's like the point still stands. You know, I will see season 2, and then when is season 3 coming out? In 17 years? It's like I don't trust them anymore. I just don't trust anime, because the same thing with Goblin Slayer. You know, Goblin Slayer comes along, season 1 goes up. I even review stuff of it. And then like season 2, it takes like I don't even know if it's out yet. And Goblin Slayer is such a troll anime. Holy shit. You know, it starts really dark. Episode 1 is like incredibly dark. Episode 2, dark as well. And then from episode 3 all the way until the season finale, it's just like epic, wholesome adventures. It's like some friends playing D&D. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, you sold me on dark and edgy, and now you're having like these wholesome adventures where you're going around and you're just having fun, and it's like, well, where's the dark universe I was promised? It became a harem anime. Yeah, pretty much. I have nothing against harem animes, by the way. If the characters are good, harem animes are okay, but like, the main problem wasn't even the characters, it's just that I wanted it to be dark, right? Like the first episode, that was like, holy fuck. It pissed off all the social justice activists, and that's how I got into it. It's like, oh, it triggered the libs. Well, let's see what triggered the libs. Oh shit, well, I can understand why the libs are triggered now. And you're watching it, and you're like, well, when's season 2 coming out? Why is this so bland? This is like, it's just generic. Like the first 2 episodes were great, and now it's generic. Jobless Reincarnation is fantastic, but I've read the source, so I'm just happy to see some of the action animated. Ah, I see. Chainsaw Man is dark and edgy. Would you believe I never get to see it? Like, I know it's pretty good. I just didn't have time to watch it. It's probably for the... One Punch Man, another example, right? You watch One Punch Man, season 1 of One Punch Man, and then there's no season 2. And I'm like, come for the fuck on. It's like, good God. You've heard of the 100 girlfriends who really, really love you? I didn't hear about that. Konosuba was one of the best so far. I think the reason people like Konosuba is that the characters actually behave like real friends. Like when you look at Western shit, people that are friends, they don't banter with each other, they don't make fun of each other, right? Like, they're very super highly respectful. But in Konosuba, everyone takes the piss of Aqua. Aqua takes the piss of the main character. And at the end of the day, they accept that because they're acting like friends. It's like when you were a kid and you had friends, that's pretty much how you acted. And that anime is basically recreating genuine human experiences. And like, you look at the West and they don't do that. Like, the West is very, I mean, look at Invincible, right? The friendship in Invincible, like, no one is bantering, no one is making fun of each other, no one is joking. Everyone is like making absolutely sure that they're being as politically correct and respectful as possible. There is a bullshit creeping into the culture where a show will take 6 years off for some fucking reason. Yeah. Well, the biggest bullshit is that most of the Western streaming is centralized. So if you want to push an anime into the West, you need to abide by the TOS. And the TOS is getting more and more left-leaning. It's like, hire out localizers. So now you have Vegeta saying some shit like, you saying monkey, and the localizer goes like, you MAGA supporter, Chad. And you can't have like certain themes in it. Like, you can't have the Goblin Slayers anymore. You can't have that. You can't have Legacy of Shield Hero. Oh my god, it's got a false rape accusation. Oh. So it is what it is. I do think it's going to get worse. Yeah, I think like anime is going to get sanitized, especially I think like Disney is throwing in money now. They want to cut into the anime bullshit, so we still have South Korea, I suppose. China exists, so yeah. Both of those animes literally had new seasons last year. Yeah, but like, how many years has it passed since the previous season before that? And how many years will it take for the next season to come out? Thinking about it, there hasn't been a controversial anime in a while. I mean, maybe it has, and I just didn't hear about it, because I don't watch every single anime that's ever made. But yeah, like, there hasn't been controversial animes, that's true. I'm trying to think. By the way, did you notice that in Naruto, all the female characters had their tits nerfed? Like even the Hokage, what's her name? Fuck. Tsunade no Bacha. Yeah. Like, Tsunade no Bacha was there. Like, unironically, if Naruto had Boruto made in the West, I would say it's woke. The only reason I say that Naruto is not woke is because I know the ideology isn't in Japan. But let me give you an example, right? So, Anko. Right, now I'll look for Anko in Naruto and Anko in Boruto. So you know what I mean. Alright, I found the Boruto one. I need to find the Naruto Anko. Anko was actually my waifu in Naruto. I really liked her the most. And to see what they did to her is very displeasing, to say the least. Trying to find a good picture with her that I can show on YouTube. I think I can show this one. It's fan art, but it's very close to the actual anime, so we'll go with this, right? So, she's a teacher, I think, right? Like this is Anko, right? And this is how she looks like in Naruto. Now, this is how she looks like in Boruto. Tsunade, same thing. They nerfed the breasts a lot. Like almost all the female characters are made to move away from the male gaze. Every single one, no exception. Even Naruto's wife, even Hinata, right? Now, of course, the left would be like, Kumerism. This is the Kumer. It's like, yeah, but like, why are you so? There needs to be a word for anti-Kumer. When you're afraid to draw the female form simply because it looks too feminine, and you're afraid of the male gaze. Like you hate heteronormativity so much, right? Like the male characters, that they're still having muscles and shit. The male characters still look the same like they look in Naruto. But for some fucking reason, all the female characters in Boruto, every single one of them has been nerfed significantly. Like they figured out where the male gaze is and they ran away from it. No, like, I know the cope. I know the cope. It's like, well, yeah, but like she went depressed and she started eating a lot. Or, you know, like there's always some cope. There's always some lore reason why the character had to age like a rotten egg. Like, I know, yeah, sure. But from a writing perspective, though, like, it's okay if it would happen with one character, with two, with three. But literally every single fucking one? Like, you go from the show that had fan service of the harem no jutsu, which was a joke, and you go from that all the way to like, okay, well, what is the male gaze? Okay, let's go so fast away from it that we ran into the arms of the LGBT community. My character wouldn't do that energy. The thing is, like, I'm not expecting Anko to do anything sexual on the screen. But it's like just one more example where she's got to look like this because, again, you know, like some man may have used the powers of the male gaze on her, so like we need to make her like this, and it's every single fucking character, every single one. Every single waifu that I grew up with watching Naruto has been diminished in some way or another, usually through budget cuts. And I'm not complaining, I'm just observing. Like, it's reality, right? And like, why did it happen? Why did the author all of a sudden decide to remove all the things that make women attractive from the manga? And the answer from the left would be, well, it's either made for kids, or it's like, yeah, but I'm not asking them to be dressed like strippers, all right? Like, I'm not asking them to be dressed like they're reading Drag Kid Story Hour. But like, I noticed that all the men are lustful. So I guess if I want to enjoy anime like I used to, I need to transition, right? I need to transition to the opposite gender so that I can enjoy it. Use AI to fix her face. I don't really care. I mean, it's not something that really bothers me that much, but it's an observation. You know, you notice the change. And the question is, like, how much is it influenced by the West? Like, how much do you want to bet that they hired some consultants, some localizers from the West, that they said, yeah, Anko is problematic. Tone it down. Yeah, Naruto's wife, tits are too big. We need to make them C cups. Yeah, the fan service we don't like. That, unless it's male fan service, right? Unless it's LGBT fan service, like, that can stay. But anything heteronormative, we would like you to remove it. What else? Yeah, all these male characters, please make them buff and show them shirtless. But all the female characters, just make them fat. Make sure they don't have boobs. Yeah, the solution is to become gay, to enjoy the fan service. That's the solution. Anyway, gushing over magical girls. I haven't seen it. But I heard that it triggers people. So yeah, I guess like that's the latest controversial anime out there. I don't even know if they want to capture a non-existing female mark. Like, how many women watch Naruto? Women watch different types of anime. I mean, some women do watch Naruto, but like, women watch the gay shit. Yuri on Ice. Capcom made a video game which was like, you're a mentor to this guy. That's what women watch. It's completely different genre, completely different animes. It's fine. You know, let the market decide. If they want everyone to be gay, then who is going to have kids? The immigrants, of course. I mean, this is unironically how the left believes humans reproduce, right? Like the way that our parents thought that humans reproduce is wrong. Like our parents thought that a man and a woman get together, they marry, and they have a kid. And that is called human reproduction, right? However, that is the incorrect way of how humans breed. The way humans multiply is by voting Democrat, by supporting left-leaning people, who then end up in a position of power and authority and open the borders. And as immigrants come in, that's how humans multiply. Can't argue with fucking science, and if you disagree, you're a fucking bigot. But yeah, like this is literally how, my fucking god, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Like, why am I keep getting this? It's like heat warning. It's like it's barely warm. What the fuck? It's 26 degrees. Oh, fuck off. Look at this Microsoft shit. It's like heat wave, 26 degrees. I'm sitting fucking comfortably in my chair. Like, I wish it was 26 degrees constantly. If there was a button to like freeze the weather, I would press it so that it's always 26 degrees. Do you know how like pleasant it is? And like, oh, this is a heat wave. So if this is a heat wave, how would you call 36 degrees? Because we had that. It's just like, yeah, no, it's the middle of June, and we're in 26 degrees. And there's a warning on my little weather shit. Heat wave. And it's orange to highlight how dangerous it is. God. And every single time, yeah, like every single day on the news, they talk about the weather. They didn't used to talk about the weather so much. And what's interesting is they don't talk about the weather when it's winter, right? I mean, they do. It's like every now and then it's like, yeah, the roads are blocked and shit. But they don't talk about how many people freeze to death. They don't talk about, like, how many villages are buried under the snow here. No. It's like only the summer. It's like 25 degrees. Oh, massive heat wave. Oh, people are clogging into the hospital. Who the fuck is clogging into the hospital? Don't you have air conditioning? Stay inside. What the fuck? Are the crops dying? No, then shut the fuck up. It's so obvious what they're doing. Like 25 degrees and it's a heat wave. Oh. We're boiling alive here. And I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm boiling alive from Romania from 25, how the fuck is the person in Qatar doing? Who's experiencing like 40 degrees or some shit? Yeah, I should vote Democrat to fix it. Absolutely. I should vote Democrat. You know, if you vote Democrat, you fix the weather. This is one of the coldest summers I remember. To be honest, yeah, like it wasn't that bad. I don't think it was the coldest summer, but like it wasn't the warmest either. And it had constant heat waves, constant. 45. Now that's extreme. To be fair, like the temperature isn't as important as the humidity, right? So you need to watch out for the humidity because that actually matters a lot. Like 20 degrees in the UK is a lot warmer than 20 degrees in Romania. So the humidity does carry some weight, but like, come on. Did I miss a super chat? Holy shit. I am so sorry. Let me check it. The Philippines and Ferb. You like Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Phineas and Ferb. Sorry, Phineas and Ferb. I don't have time, man. I'm making a video game. Oh my goodness. I tried getting a voice actress. Holy shit. Japanese voice actresses are so intense. Like, they have like a list of 25 requirements that you need to fit before even contacting them. And when you contact them, they want the email to be written in that exact form that they gave you. And if you don't, they get really angry and they refuse to work with you. And it's like, oh God, I'll just hire a Japanese person to deal with this nonsense. How do you people date? Like, if it's so easy to upset someone, what? Aren't you on edge all the fucking time? Like, aren't you afraid that any small gesture you do is going to get the other person to chimp out? Like, seriously. And this is like a business relationship. Like, I'm giving them money for this shit. And by the way, I actually talked with the Japanese person, and it's like, all right, so I need you to ask this voice actress. Just ask her, right? How much does she charge? And tell her we're interested. So the guy goes, asks her, and, you know, I get a response, and I'm not really happy, because, like, she can only start in September and shit. And I'm like, oh, God, that's going to delay my game. Like, if the voice acting starts in September, then the game is going to be out in December. It's way too much. So then I start asking another voice actress. And the Japanese guy goes like, well, shouldn't we write a formal apology and a formal closure to the first voice actress? And I'm like, what? Well, yeah, because, like, she's expecting to work with... What did you ask her? It's like, I asked her what are her rates and when can she do it. And I'm like, okay, but, like, we just inquired. Like, we didn't commit. We didn't sign a contract. There's no commitment there. We just inquired. And it's like, yeah, but, like, she's expecting... Oh, fuck. I mean, if it's your culture and you do that, do it. But, like, okay, so now if I ask, like, 5 different voice actresses which are incapable of putting the fucking price on their website, I need to apologize to every single fucking one of them that I can't work with? Apparently, yes. Like how do you people manage to go through life? Like, that's scary. Kawaii. It's not like I'm criticizing that it's bad how they do things or anything like that. It's just that I imagine myself living in that world and I would be quaking. And again, like, the question is, like, how do you people date? Like, if this is with business transaction, where like, you're giving money to a person, like, they're making cash for working with you. What happens when you're dating? Jesus. You start your message with kanjis and you finish them with kanjis. I see. The thing is, like, I generally don't want to upset them, you know? So, like, when you go through life, because usually I'm an asshole. Like, usually I don't fucking care if I upset you or not. But, like, in this, you know, like, it's a new market. I don't know the people there. I don't know who knows other people. Like, I don't want to upset people. And when you think like that, it is so fucking stressful. It is just unironically. Because you're thinking, like, okay, if I say the wrong thing, they will spurg out. And often they do. This is why corpos have departments for this shit. Unironically, like, the only time you should hire consultants for political correctness should be when dealing with the Japanese. Like, they're incredibly strict. Insanely strict. No, but, like, this Japanese voice actress, like, she had, like, her entire page set in such a way, and when I talked to her, I didn't respect that, and she fucking filtered me. Like, I unironically felt as if I got filtered. It's like, oh, this is a tourist, I'm not working with them. It's like, how did they know? And then I go to my Japanese friend, it's like, well, yeah, but, like, point 24 here, right? You're supposed to mention if you want her to record from home or studio, and you did not mention. And it's like, well, couldn't she ask me in a reply? No, like, you not saying the point 24 shows that you haven't read all of her points. It's like, motherfucker, like, why are we doing this dance? What's the purpose? I want to give her money. She wants to give me voice acting. Let's do that. Like, what? Oh. V, would you even ask a lady of the night the price if you did not want to purchase the service? She's not a lady of the fucking night. And honestly, yeah. You know, like just asking doesn't mean that you're committing. So, like, how much is the price? $20. Oh, too expensive. Have you looked in the mirror? I did get a local. He did get a local, and now it's like his. I'm just sick, like sick of boy. You know, go find me voice actress. Find me voice actress, and let's fucking do it. Because when you are too fast and loose, people start getting fucked. Though the Japanese way feels expensive. Excessive. It is excessive, yeah. Like I would understand if they had like 4 or 5 requirements, but like Jesus fucking Christ. Another interesting thing is like they don't record from home, and I'm like, why don't they record from home? And then you find out that the reason they don't record from home is that they have walls that are very, very thin. And if they speak, the person from the other side of the wall hears. So like if they do some moaning noises and shit, it sounds weird for the neighbor. And we're like, okay, so when you're at home, is it like a library? Like, do you have to whisper? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, how do you live this way? Oh my goodness. Holy shit, imagine that. It's like, okay, so like, the walls are paper thin, and if you just talk normally, the neighbors hear. Like, can you imagine living like that? Like, literally, you gotta be like in a library when you're in your house. It's like it's like going to the public library, and you gotta whisper, cause else you upset the angry spirits from the neighbor. You go to a love hotel, they actually do have studios. Yeah, they have studios, and apparently, I was told, it's not like an actual studio, right? It's not like a place where people record. This is like a tiny room where people can talk. Like civilized people that do not scream V. Well, how can you be a content creator without screaming? Imagine Pipkin Pippa goes to Japan. Like, she's going to be treated like Johnny Somali. See, this is what Johnny Somali could have done. It's just like going to his own house and talk loud. And apparently drama ensues. Yeah, how do they fuck though? Like that is such you know, like people say, oh, it's hentai that keeps Japan's birth rates low. Like, no, I don't think that is the case. Like seriously, okay, if you know that when you talk normally, your neighbors can listen. And you know this because you can also hear your neighbors when they talk low. So like, how do you have sex? It's like you go into your room and the moment she makes a single moaning noise, you're like, like gasp. Do you put music to mask it? I think that's what you do. They bite the pillow? Ah. By contrast, you have people stomping above you and blasting music next to you in the West. I've been to some loud places, yeah, like especially the communist apartments. They're very loud. And when someone has a dog and the dog barks all night, it's annoying. But like, here in Romania, people do have like this level of respect. So unless the neighbors are having a fight and they're yelling, most of the time it's quiet. And this is due to the fact that even if people don't mention it, you kind of get it that if you're loud, you're bothering others because you're also bothered, right? And then you really can't complain. So, you know, unless you get some really excessive neighbors that like really don't want a single cricket to be heard. Oh my god, no, listen. Do you guys know the definition of the ghetto cricket? I will show you the ghetto cricket. I saw it on Know Your Beam. I will not elaborate. I will just show it and... So for some reason, I can't figure out why, but they call this the ghetto cricket. And I want you to imagine living next to a place that has one of these screaming for their life because they're running out of energy or they already ran out, right? And it's in agony, it's in pain, and it's crying for help, it's crying for a replacement. It's like, please, change my batteries, please, I'm starving. But like no one listens. And imagine like being Being like next to an apartment and this thing like keeps chirping all the fucking night. It's like chirp, 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 and it's like taskete, taskete, F1, F1. It just needs one thing, you know. It's just one thing only, and it just doesn't get it. And that's the first night, and the second, and the third. By the way, like how long do they chirp? Like, do they stop at one point? Do they starve to death? Is there like a limit to how many times that thing chirps? The ceiling bird? No, man, it's a ghetto cricket. I unironically think, and a lot of people disagree with my take, but I think that there are people that genuinely do not hear the chirp. Like there are certain acoustic ranges that kids can hear and adults can't. And I think like it may be something similar to that. Like there are some people that literally do not hear the chirp. I've been told that, well, actually they do, but they sleep with it. And I'm like, there is no fucking way. There is no fucking way. You can't sleep with that because it's so annoying, right? Like if it's a constant noise, like if it's raining or if it's a storm, you can't actually fall asleep because it's like constant. But that thing just like goes chirp. And it's like the Chinese water torture, you know, like the Chinese water dropping. It's like it drops a little bit and then pauses for like 2 minutes and then that chirp. No, because that's the thing, like white noise has to be constant, right? Like white noise has to be constant so you can adjust with it. It's kind of like chewing gum. Like when you start chewing gum, after a while the flavor goes away. The reality is that the flavor is still there, you just can't taste it anymore. Or if you enter a smelly room, after a while you just get used to the smell. Like human beings adapt. So like if it's white noise, after a while you get used to the white noise. The problem with that is that it chirps constantly. Constantly. And then there's like 2 minutes intervals between the chirps. The only exception for background noise, if you have like 20 of them, like you have like surround and they all chirp at different intervals, that I can understand being background noise. But by the way, do they run out of battery after a while? Like if you don't change it after like, I don't know, 2 months, does it stop? Like how long does it keep going? You know, do you think if it would start shouting racial slurs, would people change the battery? Like if you don't change the battery, it starts dropping the new rap album. And it starts yelling the slur. Would it, huh? I think it would. I think like it would actually get people to change the battery really fast. About a year. So you gotta live a year with the chirp. Jesus. From Christmas to Christmas and beyond. Hold on, if they're hardwired, why do you need to change the battery? Why can't they be hardwired so that they take electricity from the fucking house at that point? That will spend the battery faster? Yeah, but like, which one is more effective? Like, have battery that lasts for a year, from Christmas to Christmas and beyond, and no one changes it. Or have the battery that the moment it drops the rap album, immediately people change it. They work with radioactive isotopes. Maybe that needs to be changed. I don't fucking know. We don't have them in Romania, believe it or not. Like, we just do it. But like, if I did have something like that, and it would be that level of annoying, I would just go out and buy a lot of fucking batteries. I would buy like 20 batteries so that they're always in my home. And when I reach 10 batteries left, I buy 20 more. And I would always have batteries to change it. Like how many times do you need to change that shit? None of my fire alarms are... I don't know how it is. We don't have them. What happens in an electrical fire? The house burns down, like. Or like what? Like how people can tell without smoke detectors? I don't get the question. I actually don't have a stockpile of batteries, to be honest. I mean, if I run out of batteries, I just buy them. Like, but we don't have any electronics that are this fucking annoying that they start chirping and shit. No, there are fires in Romania. Usually you can tell due to the smoke. Like, you just don't have smoke detectors. Like, smoke detectors are a recent fucking invention. You know, like, mankind used to survive before the smoke detector was invented. Obviously, it's a lot more dangerous. Yeah, like, the smoke detector provides an extra layer of safety. But it's like having a car without an alarm, you know? You deal with it. Just like your ancestors dealt with it. No, I think you do have smoke detectors in the country. It's just that no one installs them. Like, everywhere I went, I've never seen a smoke detector, except for hotels. Like, there are smoke detectors in hotels. But even, like, the new buildings don't have them. So, it is what it is. How do you not know your place is on fire if you are awake? I mean, fires are not that common. Like, in before I'm saying this, and then some rodent chews my electrical cable. But like, here, believe it or not, like, we do not have fires that are that common. I mean, there are every now and then, but it's not like... How do you live without the smoke detector? Well, the same way your ancestors did, I guess. Anyway, I need to go update the videos on my other channels. So, hopefully you guys were entertained. And thank you for the super chats. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.